I'm Larry Menti. Next on Jersey Matters, the Zika virus. Is it coming to New Jersey? Health officials think it's a real possibility. And how is New Jersey doing when it comes to LGBT rights? Well, we're not North Carolina, but a lobbyist says we could be doing a whole lot better. Those stories and a lot more next, because Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. Welcome to Jersey Matters. The Zika virus is in the news all the time. Is it coming to New Jersey, and how much of a health risk is it? To answer those questions, Acting New Jersey Health Commissioner Cathleen Bennett, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry.
How much of a threat is the Zika virus in New Jersey?
So Zika is something that we've been tracking on since it became a travel-related disease that's seen a lot of growth in the Western Hemisphere. We're looking at it right now as a travel-related disease, given that it's moved to 34 countries in Latin America, the Caribbean over the past year.
Well, explain a travel-related disease. That means, I know you've had 8 cases in New Jersey, but all of those 8 cases were people that either traveled to that area and came here, or people from that area that came here, right?
Right. So actually, we now have 11 cases in New Jersey. And what they're from are people that have traveled to the Caribbean, Central America, or South America. And while they have been bitten by an infected mosquito, and they return here to New Jersey, and they've experienced symptoms of the Zika virus. So after they've been tested, they've been confirmed as having the Zika virus.
Now, there may be many more, right? I mean, most people that get it, it's nothing serious, nothing to get checked out.
That's correct. You know, most people that get it, it's something that's like cold or flu-like symptoms. So you have some aches, you have some pains, you might have a light temperature, and in 5 to 7 days, it's gone. And that's for people that experience symptoms. Most people, 4 out of 5 that have the Zika virus, don't experience any symptoms.
And the people that come here, and especially worrisome, I guess, would be the people that didn't show symptoms. Can they transmit this virus?
So it's not typical to see human-to-human transmission of the Zika virus. However, there is the possibility that men can transmit the Zika virus to their partners through sex, because the Zika virus can exist in the semen for men.
There would be a concern also, I would imagine, that somebody had the Zika virus would give blood right after they came back.
Right, and so that's one of the things that the CDC has issued some guidance around, and our blood banks now are saying do not donate blood for 28 days after you have traveled to one of the Zika impacted countries. And we now have 34 of those countries in the Western Hemisphere. There's 40 countries overall.
28 days, is that how long it exists in your system?
It actually probably clears your bloodstream in somewhere between 7 and 10 days, but to err on the side of absolute safety, particularly for our blood supply, 28 days is the guidance.
Is the only real concern for pregnant women or women that want to get pregnant?
Well, the real concern is definitely for women who are pregnant or thinking about becoming pregnant, but there's also a very real concern for individuals who might have compromised immune systems.
When did this, why are we hearing about the Zika virus all of a sudden?
Well, that's a really good question, and that's one I think a lot of people would love to know the answer to. You know, this is a virus that's been around since the 1950s. It was discovered in Uganda, actually in the Zika forest, which is where the term Zika comes from. But it really started to appear here last year, about May of this time last year. There's speculation that it came into the Western Hemisphere, you know, actually Brazil, with the World Cup games, that some people came, that they had the Zika virus, and that they were bitten by a mosquito in Brazil, and it's called the Aedes species of mosquito, and that this mosquito then became a carrier which perpetuated the virus first through Brazil, and since then, just in 1 year, has spread to 33 other countries here in the Western Hemisphere.
But the chances, it sounds like, because of the scenario we just talked about, it's slim, right?
It's really slim. We don't think that we're going to see it. And I think really what's important to keep in mind, when we've seen this virus just travel in really strong proportions throughout South America and Central America and the Caribbean, it's because their cultures and the tools that they have available to combat The mosquitoes aren't the same as what we have here in the U.S. and specifically here in New Jersey. You know, for example, we have, screens on our windows and doors. We use air conditioning. And here in New Jersey in particular, the Department of Health works really closely with the Department of Environmental Protection and the mosquito control commissions. And we're always taking a look to say, hey, where are the mosquito pools located and what can we do to combat it? And we do everything from having fish that eat mosquitoes to spraying for mosquitoes, a whole insect management plan to address it. And that's why we're pretty confident that here in New Jersey, what we're really going to see is travel related.
You know, we talk so much about the concern for pregnant women, assuming that everybody knew what the concern was, but just in case there's somebody out there that doesn't know what can happen, it affects the fetus.
That's correct. It doesn't, we don't know, and that's still being studied, how many women that are pregnant that have the Zika virus could actually, have a baby that's impacted, but we know that there is a link. And so one of the things that we, strongly encourage women, if you're pregnant or if you're thinking about, becoming pregnant, avoid travel, talk with your health professional if you do decide to travel to one of the countries, because you're correct. I mean, one of these issues that, that can occur is something called microcephaly. And microcephaly means a small head, so the baby's head is much smaller than you expect, and that really means that the brain development is not where you expect it to be. So there are some potential lifelong consequences if you have a baby that's born with microcephaly. You can see things like developmental delays, learning disabilities, so some challenges there, and you don't want to see it, and that's why you can take preventative steps, and you can actually be really informed before you do travel.
So how can people get more information about the virus and what your department's doing?
So I strongly encourage everybody to check Google. You can go to Facebook, do Twitter. The New Jersey Department of Health has what we're calling the hashtag #ZapZika campaign. You can also go to nj.gov/health to get more information. We also have a toll-free number available to answer questions from the general public that they have about Zika, the virus, and where to go for further information.
That's great. It's wonderful that you're doing so much, because even though you say the chances are slim, the effects of an outbreak would be so tragic. It's horrible what happens to fetuses and pregnant women, that it's wonderful that you're taking all these precautions. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Acting New Jersey Health Commissioner Cathleen Bennett. When we come back, we are going to introduce you to one of the most influential LGBT lobbyists in the state of New Jersey. That's when Jersey Matters continues.